Everyone, this is Heba from My Little Journal, and today I'm going to be doing a flip through of my May 2019 Traveler's Notebook. I haven't done a flip through in a very long time, so we stopped at April, so it's time for May. I'm definitely kind of caught up. I think I'm working on my September and October Traveler's Notebook, but let's check out May and how my layouts turned out. Now, this is Traveler's Notebook number 30. And in this spread, I was documenting my love for tacos. I used Studio Calico's taco stamp set, and I just stamped a bunch of different stamps kind of in a column, and some I even stamped on labels and little things like that. I love how simple this spread turned out. It's just kind of a fun little spread. Documenting the Three Musketeers, my son and his besties. I just journaled a little bit about them. One of them graduated last year. And obviously this was the end of May, so it was like their last time performing together. I used an acrylic piece from Colorcast Design that said Outside Shenanigans because these three are always up to no good. And I really love how that one turned out. I had shared this spread. I got a lot of questions about how I add photos in labels, and I shared how I created something like that, how I was able to adjust photos using my selfie printer and some of my apps to get these photos to fit into these labels. And here I was documenting my daughter graduating from middle school, and I had loads of photos. So these labels work perfectly for something like that. If you have a lot of photos from one occasion and you wanted to use them all. So definitely a great way to add those photos, but not make your layout look too busy. Another simple one where I'm documenting a larger photo. I love to add large photos in my traveler's notebook. And I just kept it simple. This was a part of the pattern from the Traveler's Notebook. And all I did was add this acrylic piece from Colorcast Design that says Wander and just a little bit of embellishments here and there and called it done. Another simple one, May had a lot of simple spreads. Sometimes when I'm trying to catch up, I keep it simple and that's okay. What's important is to document those photos. This title was a part of the pattern, so I used it, added a bit of stamping. I think those are from Feed Your Craft, and added a 4x8 photo of my son while he was performing. Another spread where I'm documenting food because I love to eat, and I love pizza. I used Studio Calico's pizza stamp set, stamped a bunch in a column, added my journaling on a vellum piece, and then used the little veggies from that stamp set as confetti for my spread just to add a little something. And in that Traveler's Notebook kit, we got these acetate sheets, which is pretty neat. And I just ended up adding it over my 4x8 photo just to add a little something. And I really like how this one turned out. Very simple. And I do believe I have a process video for this one. So in May, my daughter went to Disney World and she sent me loads of photos. I was very proud of my little girl sending me all those photos. So I wanted to obviously document it. I just kept it simple. I believe I used Kelly Purkey's Magic stamp set. I can't remember the name of that stamp set. I am sure it's not available anymore, but I just used the stamp. I don't have like Disney World themed stamps or papers. So I used my stamps to create my own kind of themed paper. And then I also used this paper from Kelly Purkey, backed up my journaling. I added it on vellum and backed it up with a white sheet of paper. I did that because when I added the vellum piece against the pattern paper, you couldn't read the journaling, but a subscriber told me to back it up with another vellum piece and that would help and you still have that vellum look. And I love that idea. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm sure it works and I will be using that tip next time. So thank you for that. So the marching band had a fundraiser and it was on May 4th. So my son was dressed as Darth Vader, which is pretty hilarious. They always dress him up. He's always up to it. So all I did was, this was a part of the pattern paper. I added my journaling on some vellum and stamped out "May the 4th be with you." Kept it simple, and I love the black with the red. Those two are my favorite, like one of my favorite combos. Same day, but this time he's dressed up as the mascot because he is the school mascot. And this was a part of the pattern, and it said, "Open your heart to new possibilities." I used these speech bubbles. They are vellum speech bubbles from the kit from Studio Calico. Added my journaling on one and kind of created a little cluster on the other. This is my go-to kind of spread, my kind of little 3-piece collage when I have photos from one like moment. So my daughter and my son, when I take pictures of them, they always like pose and kind of act silly. So I love to use a lot of those photos. And what I do is I just create a little collage. I always have them kind of sitting in a column. This is my go-to sketch and I love using it. And I just used, I believe I used my foil, my Glimmer Hot Foil machine from Spellbinders to foil up these beautiful flowers. Added my journaling, a little title, and called it done. She was going to her 8th grade dance, and I just adore these photos. Again, there's my go-to sketch where I add the 3 photos. I love my flowers. These are my favorite flowers in my garden. Obviously the roses. I just ended up adding 3 photos, kind of created a little cluster for each, and I just backed them up with doilies and vellum pieces. I believe these are glassine bags, and then I kind of backed them up with patterned paper, and I use this acrylic piece from Colorcast Design that says "More Flowers." Documenting my daughter in her orchestra concert. This was the last orchestra concert for her like middle school years, and I just journaled about that on a 3x4 card. I love using my 3x4 cards in my traveler's notebooks. They are not just for pocket pages, and that's a great way to use up your cards. And here's a little tip for you. If you are subscribed to Studio Calico's Documenter Kit and Traveler's Notebook Kit, these cards and these Traveler's Notebooks all match. If you are a subscriber to both, you can definitely use the cards with your Traveler's Notebook. And you can see here, this is from the Documenter Kit, and this is obviously from the Traveler's Notebook Kit, and they match perfectly. The same colors, the same everything. It looks like this is a part of the pattern. Documenting our first time going to the pool in 2019. We were really excited. Just used some Kelly Purkey stamps and papers. Love the simplicity. I just added my journaling on one of those papers because there was prompts for me. I love pages that have prompts for me. It makes journaling much easier, and I'm not a big fan of journaling, but I just used a lot of Kelly Purkey products on this one. I love documenting what I'm listening to at the moment. I do this often throughout my traveler's notebooks. Either I document like what I'm reading, what I'm watching, and what I'm listening to. And I love looking back and seeing what I was listening to at the time. It's a lot of fun. And I just used some photos from the albums that I was listening to, added my favorite songs from those albums, and just went to town with it. I used some of the speech bubble or the vellum speech bubbles from the kit to back up my journaling, and added a lot of little stamping here and there. I think this stamp set is from Studio Calico. I believe it was all about like documenting what you're listening to or your playlist and things like that. So that one worked out really well. It was my mom and brother's birthday in May, so I used my Glimmer Hot Foil machine to foil up all the things. I foiled up my title, I foiled these "Yay, it's your birthday," and then I backed up my photos with some stamped flowers. I always stamp out my flowers on white cardstock, fussy cut them out, and add them in a drawer where if I wanted to use them, they're available for me, and I don't have to worry about like stamping and fussy cutting out things and all that good stuff. It just makes the process easier for me. But I love how this one turned out. Again, love the black and the red. It's a great little combo to use on a spread. I had more photos from my daughter's dance, her 8th grade dance. So what I decided to do was use Feed Your Crafts kit, and I can't remember the name of that kit, But anything I mention and it's still available, I will link it in the description box. I used the tag from the stamp set, stamped it a bunch of times. I even stamped my photos out and then fussy cut them out, used them to back up my photos, added some twine on some of them just to add some texture, added my journaling on a few. Love how this turned out, even stamped it on some vellum as well. And this was a part of the pattern, so this became my little title. This next spread I cannot share because it was a class for Studio Calico, but I believe we are almost done. Ooh, my vellum piece is kind of wonky here. Anyways, I believe, yeah, this is my last spread documenting another photo of my daughter at Disney. I used this little Felicity Jane heart, and I think it just kind of bent a little bit, but it's not a big deal. And a bunch of Kelly Purkey stamps. This was a part of the Traveler's Notebook where it said wonderful, and all I did was use some black ink and stamp magical, a little magic, you know, things that kind of represent Disney World. And I love how this one turned out. It was so simple to, obviously, to put together, just using my stamps, a little piece of embellishment, and called it done. As you can see, a lot of my spreads in this Traveler's Notebook was pretty simple, and I'm okay with that. You know, what's important is to document those photos. And you know what? I do go all out. You can see here that I add a lot of embellishing, a lot of layering, and sometimes I just like to keep things as simple as possible. That's fine. I was able to document those photos, and that's what's important to me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this flip through, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I hope to see you guys very soon. Bye.